seeing as how we're all stuck in our homes and we're quite bored, it's sort of reactivating, I'm sure, not just in me, but also in all of you, things that you don't usually have time for, interests or hobbies that you neglect. One of the things that I have noticed with this time off is a need to rekindle my connection and relationship with the written word, with poetry specifically. Anybody who knows me really well know I am a very, very big fan of poetry. I love poetry. I don't write it. I'm simply I guess I write songs and music, but that's a little different. It's not, poetry is meant to be spoken, not sung. So I thought, as an idea, and we'll see how this goes, that every day I would sit here in my office and read you a poem and not comment on it or say too much, but just share the written word and let it hit you and affect you in whatever way it does, without me trying to put some kind of experience on it other than the way that I deliver it. So I, in college, had an amazing teacher, and she taught us all about poetry, and she gave us this amazing book, and every day we had to learn a new word, and we had to come into class in theater school at Humber College and recite by memory a new poem. And I was just in love and awestruck, and I consumed this book, which I'll show you in a second. And so I've sort of loved poetry ever since, and always been a fan of it. So I love hearing poetry and sharing poetry and buying poetry books. And this book is amazing, and it's called The Norton Anthology of Poetry. It's huge. It's very big, and it has poetry from like the 1300s all the way to I think the 1950s about. So pretty cool, and moves through a lot of Old English poetry. When words were different and meant different things, which is always an interesting thing. And it's a great book to buy if you love poetry, because it's not only a book of poems, but it's rather a history of poetry and rhyme and meter and measure, and how different people and different cultures have all kind of discovered similar things, and the difference between different kinds of sonnets from different parts of the world and the way that they rhymed or didn't rhyme. Anyways, without further ado, today I will read you a poem by Christopher Marlowe, a well-known playwright of the Shakespearean time. And this is a love poem, and I hope you enjoy it. It's called The Passionate Shepherd to His Love. Come live with me and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove, that valleys, groves, hills, and fields, woods, or steepy mountain yields. And we will sit upon the rocks, seeing the shepherds feed their flocks, by shallow rivers to whose falls melodious birds sing madrigals. And I will make thee bed of roses, and 1,000 fragrant posies, a cap of flowers and a kirtle, embroidered all with leaves of myrtle, a gown made of the finest wool, which from our pretty lambs we pull, fair lined slippers for the cold, with buckles of the purest gold, a belt of straw and ivy buds, with coral clasps and amber studs. And if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. The shepherd swains shall dance and sing for thy delight each May morning. If these delights thy mind may move, then live with me and be my love. It's a pretty poem. This guy really wants her to live with him. It's I'll say one funny thing about this is there's a lot of hints into pronunciation in this, because there's a couple times in the 5th paragraph, and if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love. So that means that they were trying to rhyme that, and the way they pronounced that would have been similar of, and if these pleasures may thee move, come live with me and be my love, you know? So the way they pronounced words were different, and they tell us that by reading them. So if you fit the words to make them rhyme, then you'll know how they spoke roughly, which is always interesting. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll read you another poem. Bye-bye.